Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the movie review and back on reviewing the Die Hard franchise. And moving on to the fourth film, which I think I love another sequel that I absolutely love. Had a great time seeing this back in the theater, all the way back in 2007, and this marked 10 years after, so the 10th anniversary I would pretty much say, because it was released back in 2007. So yeah, of the fourth one. Live Free or Die Hard. I love this one. Listen, this is another kick-ass sequel. Great job once again by Bruce Willis. Now, as like I said, the Die Hard franchise, with sequel-wise, I said before, my favorite is Die Hard 2, because I said before that I watched it more times than all the other sequels that I have, like more than Die Hard with a Vengeance. But that doesn't mean I love Die Hard with a Vengeance even less, because I love that film. It was another great, awesome sequel. Awesome sequel. And this too, this is another great, awesome sequel as well. But put in the correct order, it's Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3, and then Die Hard 4. But I like this. I love this film just like on the same level as the second and third film. Because so also like back in 2007 in the theater, great time seeing it, and it's directed by Wiseman, who directed the first two Underworld films. I'm not the biggest fan of that franchise, but I like the first one. He did good with the first Underworld film. But then in 2012, he made the remake, Total Recall, which sucked. So, but he did a great job with this film, with this sequel. Mostly Bruce Willis comes back as John McClane. Awesome job once again. Now this is a two-disc. No, this is a two-disc, but this one it contains disc one. It contains the original theatrical version and the unrated version. Which, because when this film came out, it was PG-13, like all the previous ones that were R-rated. So, the unrated is where they put in more of the F-bombs in here, especially for more coming from Bruce Willis. Which I prefer the unrated version more, so. Because I prefer, because the Die Hard franchise is all R-rated. I don't know why they made this PG-13, so, when they first made it. So, excuse me if you were right there, but yeah, I prefer the unrated version because it has, because the Die Hard franchise has is doing more of the F-bombs, especially for coming from Bruce Willis. So, I prefer watching the unrated version. And as for the two-disc edition, for disc 2, well, it's during the first disc also has an audio commentary with Bruce Willis and director Lynn Wiseman and editor Nicholas D. Toth. That's the name. And then disc 2 has Analog Hero, The Digital World, all new documentary on the making of Live Free or Die Hard, Keep It Kaye, Mother with Bruce Willis, Kevin Smith interview, Fox Movie Channel presents Fox Legacy, original trailer, music video, Die Hard performed by Guys Night, and a behind the scenes with Guys Night's featurette. So, and the film came out. It made more money than all the other Die Hard films. Received a lot of critical praise. I think it has an 82% Rotten Tomatoes and has a 7 point something IMDb. I think it was below Die Hard with a Vengeance because Die Hard with a Vengeance had a 7.5. I think this has a 7.3 or 4. I think, but it got good reading. So, and made over 83 million, more than this Die Hard with a Vengeance. So this is the highest grossing one in the franchise. And I just love this film. I love the action in this film. Bruce Willis knocked out of the park once again as John McClane. Supporting cast, Justin Long, you can see him right there, as Matt Farrell. He's this computer. He's this young guy who is a computer, like sort of a computer expert, and knows like all this stuff that's going on during the film, all the hacking and all that stuff. And I really liked him in this film. I know he's been in films like with Jeepers Creepers and then Dodgeball And he was, of course, he was in Kevin Smith's Tusk, which that sucked. But he also voiced Humphrey in the first Alpha and Omega movie. Which I thought his voice was. I think he did the voice role fine in Alpha and Omega, because if you remember my movie reviews, I had a poster in the back of my room, so I still have that poster still, because one of the reasons I liked Alpha and Omega, like I said, Dennis Hopper last film. But Justin Long, I thought he did fine as a voice of Humphrey in that animated film anyway. And he was also in Drag Me to Hell. But he's also just working with Kevin Smith later, especially Tusk. He was also in some part in Yoga Hosers. But I really like Justin Long in this as Matt Farrell. He's not like another good sidekick though, but more of the who goes along the ride with McClane, like Samuel L. Jackson did in Die Hard with a Vengeance. But and as far as they have Cliff Curtis, who's from Deep Rising. He was in Collateral Damage, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Cliff Curtis. He's currently starring in Fear of the Walking Dead. He's in this as his FBI agent guy by the name of Bowen. So that's it. And I think he did a good job on this because I like Cliff Curtis. Maggie Q is the bad guy's girlfriend, I should say, because they have like a little relationship. And Timothy Olyphant, who is the bad guy in this, as Thomas Gabriel, who's like. That's the other one thing I would say. The villain in Timothy Olyphant, I don't think he's not that great of a villain. I mean, William Sadler is, I would say, as Colonel Stewart in Die Hard 2, he's a much better villain, way better villain than Timothy Olyphant. Same with Jeremy Irons. Alan Rickman, nowhere near close as where Alan Rickman is as Hans Gruber. But as for villain wise, I'll probably say the villain in Die Hard, the fifth one, A Good Day at Die Hard, is even much more weaker. But his villain is not all that great in this film. He's just a guy who knows all this stuff. Which I like that it was in this film. The difference from the other bad guys in all the Die Hard films is that it's dealing with cyber terrorism. That's basically what it is. Because Timothy Olyphant and his group, they hack into all this stuff, create what's called a fire sale that Matt knows about. That takes out all the communications, all the transportation, all the stuff, which is he wants to with the government and all that, take down the government and all that stuff. And also, there's also all of it on the side that there's money that he was going to get as well. Because it's always about money with all these bad guys. But the whole cyber terrorism, taking all this communications or technology and just all this stuff, the transportation. So, and it also takes place during the 4th of July weekend instead of usually on Christmas. So it'll take place on the 4th of July weekend. And the score by Marco Beltrami. Too bad it wasn't Michael Kamen who did the score for the previous films. Too bad he didn't come do the score for this film. But I thought the score was pretty decent. Which also is the same guy who did the score for the fifth one. So, but the score was decent. Not as good. Still not as good as the score by Michael Kamen for the previous three films, like the theme for the first Die Hard, which is also used in the third one. I can't do it, but still. But I thought the action scenes was really badass and well directed by Lynn Wiseman. It starts off with Justin Long. He's all this other group of people who are also like computer experts. They all get killed, blown up by the same people, and Justin Long, he's like the last of the ones that they're on his hit list. And with Bruce Willis as John McClane once again, and he's having problems with his daughter, played by his Lucy, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. which get a little argument, over this boy that she's with, and then when she leaves, like he goes says Lucy McLean. It's not McLean. It's Gennaro. And take like her mom's other name. That's the last time that you get a little insight about on Holly again that they're divorced. And Bruce Willis gets a call that he wants to go in to pick up this kid from the FBI. So he has to be a senior detective. So he goes over there, and the bad guys together. They had this bomb set up in his computer, but of course, before he pressed the button to detonate it, of course, McClane arrives. So they send bad guys in to shoot him instead. And as they're shooting up the place, he had some good lines from Bruce Willis. He throws like this fire extinguisher at one guy, and he shoots at it, makes it explode. And the guy flies back out the window and lands on a car, which is the theatrical version. He says that's gonna wake the neighbors. And I thought it was really, and also good stunt work as well, like how the guy flies out and lands in the car, or another guy, where another guy, he pokes his head through the hole in the wall, and Bruce Willis, takes him, breaks that guy's neck, and says, motherfucker, which the unrated version, which I appreciate, is more of the F-bomb from Bruce Willis. And then one other guy, where it's actually a little statue of the Terminator statue, because it's 20th Century Fox, and at the time, it was 20th Century Fox that owned the start of the Terminator films, I think. I forget, but there was a statue of the Terminator. Falls on the button, blows up the place, and sends this guy flying against the wall. So it's like another good stunt work. And as they get out, this other guy who's was a guy who's snipering from across the way. He does some good parkour stuff. He's jumping off from one building to another. He's falling, grabbing on the rails here, and he climbs into the fence as they're driving away. And the fence gets caught in this part of the dumpster and sends this guy flying. And Justin was like, "Did you see that?" And McClane goes, "I saw it. I did it." So a good stunt work where the guy, he's on the fence, but then he sends him flying against one wall. So then we introduced that Timothy Olyphant is a bad guy named Thomas Gabriel. And then when it's morning, then you hear the song by Creedence Clearwater. The song for this, I forget what the song is. Don't follow the wall made to wear the flag. Ooh, that red, white, and blue. And it's just long he doesn't like it's like when he's saying this sucked back then and it sucks back and it sucks now. And Bruce Willis is like, you don't like classic rock? And he's like, this is like having a pine cone shoved in my ass. And he goes and turns the music up louder. He's like, oh wow, how very mature. And it's the stoplight, and this when the bad guys are messing up the transportation, making the lights confusing with the traffic lights. And Bruce Willis, he tells Justin Long, he keeps on talking. He's like, "Hey, shut up, shut the fuck up." And then all these cars are just banging into each other all across of DC. Because like I said, they're messing with the transportation. I like how the way it's shot. I like how the way it's filmed and edited. Which it was this whole cyber terrorism, which that was something that would happen. That would happen today. I would definitely see that with the cyber terrorism because how hackable everything is nowadays. So I would believe that something like this would happen one day. So, but then Bruce Willis and Justin Long, they get to the FBI, they're talking with Cliff Curtis, and McClane tells them that's about. They sent professionals to get this kid because it has something to do with what's going on, and so they get some FBI transportation and. Justin Long explains that's how the guys were killed from earlier, how they were involved in this, and Maggie Q is like influencing on the police radio, and Justin Long recognizes the voice, and Bruce Willis is talking. He's like, she's saying, yes, we had to dispatch all units, and Bruce Willis goes, yeah, they had to dispatch all units for all the naked people running around. Cut the bullshit. I put your boss on. He's not stupid because he knows. Oh, whoops. Sat down and fell on the floor, and the whole thing broke apart. But as I was saying, that because he knows that person's is lying, so. And then Timothy Olyphant gets all this information on him, like how he's been a member of the NYPD and Holly and all that. Their divorce and all that, and then their helicopter comes in and shoots the FBI agents. And you get this really fun car chase scene where they're just driving away from the helicopter, and Bruce Willis purposely knocks over this fire hydrant, sends the water up, hits one guy in the helicopter, and sends him falling off on the car. And another fantastic action sequence where they go in this tunnel, and Timothy Olyphant, he makes from both sides of the tunnel, all lanes are open. They make them go from either side, and all cars are crashing into each other, and one car flips over. Then they both have to duck underneath, and Bruce Willis, he's just really pissed, and he's like, all you do is pick up the kid down in Jersey. How hard can that go? How hard can that be, huh? No, there's got to be a senior detective. And he's driving that cop car, and as they're shooting from the helicopter again, and he jumps out of the car, and the helicopter car uses like a ramp while on the toll booth, but like a ramp, just sends it flying and crashes right onto the helicopter as one of the bad guys jumps off of it. That shot right there, as I remember seeing from the trailer and seeing the theater, great effects, actual model work of the car, crashing the helicopter, great. If it was CG, that was really well done CG. I couldn't tell that was CG'd. So, that looked like an actual stunt. So I enjoy that. I like how just the car crashing into the helicopter. I love that. And which is kind of funny in this in the theatrical version, which he says his line, which I like though, but it's not in the unrated version. It changes the line a bit. Which I love the line in the theatrical version where Justin Long says, "You just killed a helicopter with a car," and Bruce Willis goes, "I was out of bullets." I like that line. But the theatrical that was in the theatrical version, but in the unrated version, he says, hundreds of thousands of people gets killed by cars every day. Something like that, but I don't know why they changed it. I liked how the way it was in the theatrical. That's one thing I will say in the theatrical version I prefer. Like some of the lines have been switched for the unrated. But the line he says, "I was out of bullets," I prefer that than the line he says in the unrated version. So after that, they get this broadcast on the TV. Where I also like how when they broadcast his messages from earlier that they composed different clips of presidents for over the years. Like some of them, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, or Nixon. I think most more was Eisenhower. And some other old presidents, they all match up clips together to form this big message. I like that. Like a different kind of it's not like a ransom demand, sort of though. But I like how the way they make it give out a threatening message. So I like that. And what's the next thing after Oh, I'm drawing a blank on this one part here. Oh yeah, as they're seeing on the TV again, there's a video of the Capitol being demolished, and Bruce Willis talking with Justin Long that if this was your fire sale, what would be your next move to help me catch these guys? So they plan there's a facility that's like down like in West Virginia, and that's where that's where they're heading to next. I like this moment where they're gonna steal a car, and Bruce Willis is trying to hotwire the car, and Justin Long's like, no, don't do that, you're gonna disable it. And he takes a trash can and hits the car, where the airbag explodes in Bruce Willis's face. Like, jeez. and it's like, and Justin's like, are you alright? Did it hit you? And Bruce Willis gives that face like. I thought that was a pretty funny scene right there. So, but then just on like this computer on the car makes him turn on the car for him, and as they're driving, just along, is thanking him, and Bruce Willis says, nobody's a hero. What you get from being a hero? Nothing. You get shot at. You get pat in the back. Blah blah blah. Then you get divorced. Kids don't remember your name. Get to eat a lot of meals by yourself. And he's like, well, there's no one else who can do this. But if someone else could, I would gladly do it. But there's no one else right now. So he just is doing this just because there's no one else. But hey, it's John McClane. He's dealt with terrorists on 3 occasions before this. So he's the only person who can stop these kind of people. So he gets to this facility where Maggie Q is at. And there's one guy that they have like a gun, like one's on him, one's on the other guy, and they both gather away as they're shooting at each other. And then he shoots at one guy and gets in a fight with Maggie Q, and she's kicking his butt, and he's like, that's enough of this kung fu shit, and beats her and kind of like rips her hair out a bit, and then she kicks him out a window, and he goes and gets into a car, drives to the building, and rams into her and is like, how you doing? And then they go to this elevator shaft and it falls, but it's hanging on, and they're fighting again, and then another guy shooting at Bruce Willis, and Justin Long gets like a pipe and hits the guy, and he falls down the shaft, and the car gives, and Maggie Q is inside, and it falls all the way down and explodes, and Bruce is like, oh, fuck you, bitch, ha ha ha. And so he's like slowing their processes down, and then he's calling Timothy the Olyphant, and it's like, oh my, that Asian chick that likes to kick people. Last time I saw her, she was at the bottom of an elevator shaft with an SUV wrapped up her ass. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? And John McClane, he's just how he intimidates the bad guys, just how he speaks, and just Bruce Willis once again is as phenomenal as John McClane, and once he's telling us like, listen, jackass, your fire sale is over. Now need you pack up your little circus, or I'm gonna I'm gonna kick your ass. So, and then Timmy Olyphant goes and makes his other guy who's like a tech expert on computers. He makes all these gas pipelines, make them explode to destroy the whole place. And while doing that, Bruce Willis tells Cliff Curtis who a picture of the guy is, and he works for him. And the facility gets destroyed, and Justin Long has the idea to go to the Warlock, which he's the guy he's been talking to. And it's actually, the Warlock is played by Kevin Smith. And Kevin Smith, I like Kevin Smith though. I just don't like the films he's been doing as recently, like with Yoga Hosers and Tusk, Red State. Like those films, those films that he's been directing have sucked. But I always enjoy Clerks 2, Mallrats, etc. Those are his early work. But I like Kevin Smith from his early work, but not the films he's making right now. But it was funny to see Kevin Smith in this. Of course, also another one that I don't like is when he works with Bruce Willis with Cop Out, in which I guess they hated each other during the production of that movie. So it's funny they were in this together before that film. So, um, so they go to his house and like Kevin Smith has this Star Wars stuff, and Bruce Willis is looking at this cardboard stand up of Boba Fett. And he's like, nice poster. It's like, oh, what, you're a big fan of the fat? It's like, no, always more of a Star Wars guy. And then the other one, he's like, hey, to Kevin Smith, hey, Jenny Craig, I'm not his dad, okay, I'm a cop. Oh, you're a cop. Why'd you bring a cop into my command center? Command center. It's a basement. And he was going to throw him out. He's like, hey, how you doing? This is my house. And then Bruce Willis, you're going to tell me what I know, or I'm going to beat you to death in your own house. That's another funny line. So he explains more about Thomas Gabriel. And Thomas Gabriel, he finds out where McClane's daughter is, who's stuck in an elevator, and the guy pretends to be like emergency services to get her out, in which they kidnap her as well. And of course, screw with McClane's make it personal for him. He's gonna come over there and just kill everybody and kick your ass. If you do that, you can't do that to him. So of course, when he finds his daughter's there, it's like, I'm gonna go kill this motherfucker, get my daughter back, or get my daughter back, kill this motherfucker, or kill all of them, So, so they go to this place called Woodlawn, and there's this one guy who's like fighting with Bruce Willis, and sends the guy flying down these steps, and he has him on the walkie-talkie, and he's like, "There's McClane, he's on the 3rd floor," and then bang. On the other end, and he lets that guy live because the guy was wearing a bulletproof vest, like time to take a nap. So he lets that guy live because he can tell he's like still like moving a bit. So, and Justin Long gets separated from McClane. He goes to this room where they're hacking into the money stuff. Basically where the money is, and then he gets captured. Then Timothy Olyphant is just talking about McClane. And then McClane gets into a fight with that guy from earlier in the film, at the beginning of the film, the guy who was doing all the parkour stuff. And a guy is had this on this one point here, and McClane, he pushes his lever and has some kind of like a freeze, kind of like freeze the guy like this, and he falls into these spinning graves and gets crushed. And then McClane's like, oh no. So, and you do get blood in this film, but sadly it's CG blood compared to the other previous films where it was all real blood and squibs and all that though. But this is a nitpick though, for another nitpick for us. You see, it's CGI blood. You know how much I like to prefer real blood and squibs and all that, but to me, I can tolerate this film because I love the sequel, so I can tolerate the CGI blood. Even though I say it's noticeable, but I can tolerate it. So, and then it was the bad guys as they're leaving. McClane, he gets on that big rig truck, and another fun, entertaining sequence where he's in the truck before he makes a call to CB radio to call Kevin Smith, to call Cliff Curtis. And then there's this fighter jet, because Timothy Olyphant tells the pilot that Bruce Willis is he's the terrorist, starts shooting at him, and then Bruce Willis is like, "Oh, god damn it! You're shooting at the wrong guy! Hey, jackass! Is that it? Is that your best shot?" It's just fun. She's just driving. She's shooting at him. The whole freeways are falling apart, and then he's on top of the jet, and a piece like messes up the jet, and the guy ejects out, and he's on top of the jet. He's jumping onto this part of the freeway, and it's just how much bad that hurts when you're sliding on concrete. But as it crashes, you get the point of view shot where he's sliding through, and the flames behind him. Love the action sequence and good stunt work. And it looked like it was pretty good effects, so I thought little freeways. I think they used models, or if it was CG, then it was well done CG then. But they had to like use some models and stuff like that, but well done effects as well. And then he sees them where they're at this hangar out place, warehouse. And he comes up and shoots that hacker guy and another guy. Then he gets like shot in the shoulder here. And then Timothy Olyphant, has him like this, so has has his gun right here. And he's basically repeating the same line what John Amos said in Die Hard 2. It's like, well, he said it on your tombstone, but then he says always the wrong place at the wrong time. And then he goes and says, "How about yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker?" And then he basically makes him shoot himself, pushes the ball out through him, and goes into Timothy Olyphant and sends him. So yeah, he puts in the part where he got shot at, and just basically pushes the bullet out and goes into Timothy Olyphant. And then just along he shoots that last bad guy. And then the FBI gets there, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead is Lucy's like, "Dad, you're insane. I mean, you shot yourself." Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time. So, and then they're just being taken away in the ambulance, and McClane, he thanks Matt, will help him with his daughter, and then Lucy says like, "Oh, did he say anything about me?" It's like, "Oh, Lucy, I'm enough pain already." So as they're on the way to the hospital, and then it ends with Creedence Clearwater's song playing, down, 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 down. So yeah, live free or die hard. What can I say about it? I love the sequel. All the up until A Good Day to Die Hard. The first 4 films are just fun films that I just absolutely love. The first film was always the best. The second film was my favorite though, but live for A Good Day. Die Hard with a Vengeance, I love just about as much as Die Hard 2. Same with this film. The first 4 films are just fun and kick-ass films. Bruce Willis is fantastic as Bruce Willis is fantastic as John McClane. More great lines that Bruce Willis says in this film. Love the action, which also some people don't care for this 4th sequel, which I don't get. I think it's a fun kick-ass movie, same with the previous films, but some people are a little bit hard on this film, which I have no idea why. But I mean, if you now they probably changed their minds after I'm looking at A Good Day to Die Hard. So I'm pretty sure people have their minds set on that film now, and be more lenient on this film. But to me, I love this film. Other than that, because Timothy Olyphant, I know he's not a great bad guy, but the villain in I will say not great. I say the villain sucks in this film, but the bad guys in A Good Day to Die Hard are much more weaker, so much more. But Timothy Olyphant, he's not a good bad guy, and it's like some of the line, like I said, for the theatrical version, like I was out bullets. I prefer putting in the unrated version. Which, like I said, this is PG-13, so when you hear the yippee-ki-yay mother, it cuts right there, but I like what they put in the unrated version. Yeah, the supporting cast, they did it really good. Like, I enjoyed Justin Long, Cliff Curtis, nice to see. Like I said about Timothy Olyphant, Maggie Q. I would say she's decent, I would say. And Bruce Willis knocked out of the park once again as John McClane. Great lines, and they're just fun, kick-ass action sequences, like the first shootout though, but then the car chase and the car going into the helicopter, and then McClane on the big rig on the highway with a fighter jet. Love that action sequence, and yeah, and just pushing, and then we're killing Thomas Gabriel, pushing the bullet out and just make him shoot himself by pushing the bullet out and going to him. And also Mary lives with Winstead as Lucy. I like her as well. Which, I know that she was not the problem in the Thing prequel though, but it's just how it was had such a poor script and all that stuff. If Mary lives with Winstead, she was not the problem. This is how they made her character into basically a ripoff of Ripley, and just the poor script and all that. So, but I will get to I will review the Thing prequel though, but finish up the Die Hard franchise. But I'll get to that it's like soon. But yeah, I love Live Free or Die Hard. 10th anniversary of Live Free or Die Hard. 10 years later, it's still a fun, kick-ass action film, and well directed by Lynn Wiseman. Score was pretty good by Marco Beltrami. Good effects, a good use of stunt work, some practical stuff, and some CG enhancements. The CGI blood, like I said, is a nitpick though, because I can tolerate it, because I do love the film, but I can tolerate it because, like I said, unlike the previous films, there was a lot of bloody stuff, good squibs and blood stuff effects. But I can tolerate this. I can tolerate the CGI blood in this. Yeah, I was just like, this is another great sequel. But then, a good day Die Hard came along. Like I said, that every franchise has a least favorite film in that's like not gonna be Every franchise has a lot of good. Can have plenty of good films as well as sequels, but there's always gonna be that one or two films that are not as good. And Good Day Die Hard is definitely by far the least in the franchise. To get to that now, but like I said, some people are not fans of the sequel. I don't get it though, but because it's just fun. It's just great action, great lines with Bruce Willis, and just funny and kick ass. But yeah, Bruce Willis once again great as John McClane. Live Free or Die Hard, which is another alternate title, was Die Hard 4.0. I think it was kind of dumb. And then look at more on trivia. Trying to see if anything else. I'm reading on trivia. Yeah, so it was the first Die Hard film without music composer Michael Kamen. Okay, because he died in 2003. That was the reason. I did not know that. So that was the reason why Marco Beltrami came into the score, because I know that Michael Kamen had passed away back in 2003. So that makes sense. And Scott also for the character of Matt Farrell before Justin Long, Lynn Wiseman wanted Scott Speedman because he worked with him in Underworld to play Matt, and then Bruce Willis wanted Ben Affleck to play because they both worked together from Armageddon, but I guess that didn't happen either, and. As the script was not originally written to be a Die Hard sequel. And of course, the title was taken from the reference of Live Free or Die. But I like the title. It's a fitting title: Live Free or Die Hard. I'm not going to do much more in the trivia now, but I think it's a very lovable sequel, great kick-ass sequel. But yeah, I already said my things on it. So that's my review on the fourth one, Live Free or Die Hard. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned on now I'll get into the last one in the franchise, A Good Day to Die Hard. Great. Anyway, thanks for watching and stay tuned on for that review now. Later.